Hey guys, welcome to this video. So in this video, we're going to go over how to apply for citizenship, or more precisely, how to file for the application N-400 online. Now we can do it online. But before we start, I'm going to give you the benefits or the advantages of filing online. The first thing is it is fast because it's online. You do it behind your computer, at home, or at the library, and then before you know it, it's already gone to USCIS. And also you can pay online. You can use your bank card to pay online. You can also respond to requests for evidence from USCIS. So for example, when you send in your application and USCIS wants some documents from you, they can ask you to submit it online through your account. And also you can check the status of your application anytime. So after you have sent in your application, you can check to see where your application is, and it's very convenient to do that. So now the first thing we want to do is we want to get to the application N-400. You can go over to google.com as I did here, and you can search for USCIS N-400. Okay, so if I search, that's what I have. See the first result here, the website. You have to check out the website. The website is uscis.gov. So this is the official website. So I'm going to click on that search result, and then I get to this page. And on this page, you see in blue here, file online. So I'm going to click on file online. Now, when I click on file online, this is the page that I get to. So before we continue, I'm going to tell you, okay, if you can remember this website over here, the website URL, it's myAccount.uscis.gov. So if you can type that in your browser, you will get directly to this page, and then you can start. You can log in if you already have your credential, or you can create an account. So we're going to start here from scratch. We're going to create an account. You see that here. So we're going to suppose that we don't have any account with USCIS, and we're going to create one. So I'm going to click here, create an account. This is what I have. Okay, so make sure you read all the information that you have here. So basically it says that this is an account for you. So, and they want to protect your privacy. So first of all, you will need an email address, and I created an email address just for this purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my email address here. So Roberto Peter 738 at gmail.com, and then you want to confirm that email, so you have to type it again to make sure that you didn't make a mistake. 738 at gmail.com. Okay, now that I have entered my email address, remember they say your email address is used to log in to your USCIS account, and all the USCIS communication will be sent through this email. So make sure that you enter an email that's for you, that you're going to be checking all the time, because everything that USCIS send you, they're going to use that address to send you. Now we can go ahead and sign up. So we saw a little bit of green here. It says a USCIS account confirmation email has been sent to. So they already sent me an email confirmation. They say please follow the instruction in the email to confirm your USCIS account request. So now I'm going to go over to my email, and then what do I see? I see I have an email confirmation instruction from USCIS. You see that here, my account at uscis.dhs.gov. So that's what I've received. And they say to continue creating your USCIS account, you must confirm your email address. So to confirm your email address, please click on the link below or copy and paste the entire link into your browser. So I'm just going to go ahead and click this link. So this is to confirm my email address. So I click. Okay, now I am here. They say create a password, and the password is between 8 and 64 characters. You can use letters, numbers, special characters. When they say special characters, like the $sign, the @sign, the exclamation point, all those signs. And also they say you can use emojis, which is nice, but I'm not going to be using that in my password. So I'm going to create a password here. Okay, so I have my password. I'm going to enter my password. And when you enter the password, it shows you the strength of your password as you move along. So I have this. Okay, so that's my password. It says the strength is great. I'm going to confirm my password, so I'm going to type it again. Okay, so if they match, then we should be good to go. If they don't match, the computer system will tell you and you have to correct it. So now that I've entered my password, this is the password to enter into my USCIS account. I can go ahead and submit. Okay, now they say my email address has been successfully confirmed. So now they have what they call the two-step verification method. What is a two-step verification method? So every time now that you're going to log in into your USCIS account, you're going to enter your email, obviously the password that we just created, or the password that you would have created, and then USCIS is going to send you a temporary password, so another verification, to either your cell phone or your email. So you have to choose here. You can choose an app. So they have app that can do that. For example, Google Authenticator. You can use that if you want to. But what I would prefer is, I would prefer email. It's simple, because if you have access to USCIS, that means you have access to the internet. That means you have access to your email. So I'm going to use your email. If you like text message, you choose the text message, and then you're going to enter your phone number. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the email address. Okay, so I'm going to use the email address for my verification code. So I'm going to submit. Okay, now they say your two-step verification method has been set. Please confirm that it works. Now they say a verification code has been sent to my email. Please enter the code you received. If you do not receive the code in 10 minutes, please request a new code. Now I'm going to go ahead back to my email and inbox. I have the secure two-step verification notification. So I click on that. What do I have? This is the code here. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy the code, so you can copy. And then when you go back to the USCIS account, there's a secure verification code. I'm going to paste. So that's the code that I pasted. Now I can click submit. they say the two-step verification is successful. Remember, anytime that you log in to your USCIS account, you're going to enter your email, your password, and then USCIS is going to send a verification code into your email or to your cell phone, depending on the method that you have chosen before. And then you're going to copy that verification method and enter into the slot that's allotted for that. And then you can enter into your account. Now, USCIS also is giving us a verification code backup. That means if you lose access to your authentication device, so for example, if you cannot, for some reason, you cannot log in into that email again, or if for some reason you cannot have access to your cell phone again, then you can use this backup code. This backup code is not going to change. So make sure that you copy it somewhere and you save it in a secure place. So for the time being, I'm just going to write mine by hand because I'm doing the video. Obviously, you don't want to do that because if you do that, you might lose it. So I'm going to write mine. Obviously, this is not mine. This is just for the purpose of this video. And then you can also export it as a PDF. So if you click here, you're going to save it as a PDF, and you can save it in your computer, or you can send an email to yourself. So whatever method is appropriate for you, go ahead and do it. So for the time being, I just wrote it by hand, but I really want you to go ahead and save it in a secure place. Now proceed, that means we continue. Now here, sometimes you want to change your password. Okay, so if you want to change your password, they give you a set of 5 security questions, and choose the security questions that you know the answers to, because sometimes people choose security questions but then they forget the answers. No, choose the ones that are easier for you to remember. Okay, so if you need to change your password, to reset your password, you have to answer some of these questions. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, question number 1. So if I click here on the drop down menu, I have a lot of questions, so choose the one that you know you can answer easily. So the first one that I can choose is, what was your favorite toy when you were a child? So I'm going to click that. I'm going to choose that because I remember. I can say, it is a car. So that's an answer that I remember easily. Okay, so now I have filled out everything else. Remember, just choose the questions that you know the answers. Okay, and you can also save this page somewhere secure, just in case you forget the answer. You might also refer to that as well. So extremely important, you can save this page. And then I'm going to go ahead and submit. Okay, now they say please choose an account type to continue. So the account type here is, I am an applicant, petitioner, or requestor. I'm a legal representative. Obviously here I am just an applicant, so I'm going to click on I am an applicant. That's my account type. Submit. Okay, now this is what we have here. We have application for naturalization, and they give you all the steps. You're going to find the eligibility, you're going to find the fees, you're going to find filing online, everything. So I'll advise that you take time to read everything. Remember that how we got into this page was we click on file N-400 online. So that's the reason why we got to this application for naturalization N-400. But in this account, you can do a lot of stuff. So when I click on my account, you see everything that we have here. You can find many forms online. So we're going to talk about that later on. But for this case here, it's just application for naturalization. And obviously you have some resources also on this side. Now, application for naturalization, this is what I have. Those are the steps. And then after you submit your application, like I was saying earlier, you can track your case status online. You can respond to requests for information. So if they ask you for documents, you can go ahead and do that. You can also do all those cool stuff here. These are the steps to get to citizenship. Okay, so let's go ahead and click on next. We have nothing to do here. This is how we complete the form online. Let's say complete the getting started section first. You should answer all questions in the getting started section first so we can best customize the rest of your online form experience. And then they say provide as many responses as you can, because incomplete fields or sections and missing information can slow down the process after you submit your form. So make sure that you give all the answers that they're asking. Now the next step is how to continue filing your form. So we have that. We have the Department of Homeland Security privacy notice. So everything is fine here. Okay. Now we can go ahead and start the application. Now before we start the application, there is a security reminder. They say if you do not work on your form for more than 30 days, we will delete your data in order to prevent storing personal information indefinitely. So what does that mean is, because when you start your application, you can start your application today and then tomorrow you add some pieces of information and the day after and so on and so forth. But if you do not work on your application for 30 days, then they're going to erase everything that you started doing. Okay, so it's important that when you start, you finish. You don't have to do it in one sitting. You can start, as I said, today, tomorrow you fill out another section, the day after tomorrow you fill another section, and the fourth day you can finish your application depending on the information that you have. So that's a security reminder. Now we can start the application. Okay. So here we are talking about eligibility. See here we have a menu. Before we start everything, we have a menu. So when we fill out this form, we're going to have 1, 2, the getting started is number 1, about you is number 2, your family is number 3, moral character is number 4, evidence is number 5, review and submit is number 6. So we have 6 big sections. But in each section, we have subsections. For example, in the getting started, we have the change basis for eligibility, preparer and interpreter information, your name, your contact information, when and where you were born, your immigration information. So you see that each section has many subsections. So for example, the first section has 6 subsections. Okay, so that's the reason why you can start today and finish tomorrow, or finish a week from today, depending on the time that you have and everything else. Okay, now let's go ahead and fill out what we can. What is your basis for eligibility? So I am at least 18 years of age and have been a lawful permanent resident of the United States for at least 5 years. Okay, so the second option is I'm at least 18 years of age and have been a lawful permanent resident of the United States for at least 3 years. In addition, I have been married to and living with a U.S. citizen spouse for the last 3 years, and my spouse has been a US citizen for the last 3 years at the time I filed my form N-400. So this is for if you're married to a US citizen here. And the next step is if you're also a spouse of a US citizen and your US citizen spouse is regularly engaged in specified employment abroad. So the third step is if you're applying on the basis of qualifying military service. So you choose the category or the basis that applies to you. So in my case here, I'm going to go here. I am at least 18 years of age and have been a lawful permanent resident of the United States for at least 5 years. So you choose and you click next. Now they say, is someone assisting you with completing this application? Obviously this is case by case, so I'm trying just to apply as if this was my case. Your case will be different, so just read the application and answer truthfully. Is someone assisting you with completing this application? No. Next. What's your current legal name? Your current legal name is the name on your birth certificate unless it's changed after birth. So my legal name, I'm just going to type something that I had before. This is just for presentation. So the first name, and then, okay, let's say I don't have a middle name. If you have a middle name, you type your middle name here. Now, have you used any other names since birth? If you have used other names like nicknames, aliases, or maiden names, you click yes. If you click yes, they're gonna ask you to fill that out, and you can fill out as many as possible. So if you have two, after filling this out, you can go ahead and click add another and do the same thing. But in my case, it's no, so I don't have to fill that out in this case. Now they say, would you like to legally change your name? They say a court can allow you to change your name at your naturalization oath ceremony. So you don't need to request a name change if you legally change your name because of marriage, divorce, or court order. So, but if you're a member of the military, you cannot change your name here. Would you like to legally change your name? If you say yes, then they're gonna ask you the name that you would like to use. But in my case, I say no, and I click next. Now they say, how can we contact you? They ask you for the telephone number, so I'm just gonna put something generic here. 202 345 6790 or 6789. Okay, obviously it's not my phone number, I just made it up. And now they say daytime telephone number. If this is the same as your mobile phone number, then you just click here and then it will fill out. Okay, if it's the same, because you already have it, when you click it, it comes here. Now next one, evening phone number. If it's the same, you click and everything is filled out. Your work phone, if it's the same as a mobile phone, you click and everything is there, and you see my email address is already there. So this is the contact, and make sure you use something, a phone number that they can contact you as your email as well. Okay, what's your current mailing address? So we will use this current address to contact you throughout the naturalization process. We may not be able to contact you if you do not provide a complete valid address. Okay, so make sure that you enter your address here correctly, because every correspondence, when they send you a letter, for example, when you send in your application, you're going to receive an official letter for the biometrics, where you're going to go and have your finger printed and your photograph taken. So that letter is going to come through your mail. So make sure that you have your address where you can access that mail, your mailing address. Okay. And over here they have some instructions for PO box numbers. So you can read that. So you just use the PO box number unless it's your only address. So don't use the PO box if you have a mailing address. That means, for example, a home address. No, use the home address instead. So you have different type, everything here. You can read it also. Okay, so I'm not gonna fill this out for the sake of time. I'm gonna move on to next. And if you don't fill out something, you can come back to it later. So that's the good thing about filing your form online. You can always go back and fill out everything that you didn't in the first place. So I'm going to go next. See, they say you must provide your current mailing address, obviously, so they're warning me that I have to do that. But in this case, I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to do that later. So I'm going to click on next. This is where we are. So we started getting started. The first basis for eligibility, preparer and interpreter information, your name, your contact information, when and where you were born. So your birth, your date of birth, you enter it here. And if you enter, let's say month, 09, 13, and let's say 1989, for example. So you enter your date of birth, the country of birth. If you type, I don't know, Ghana, for example, you have it here. If you type Mexico, you find it, and then so you must provide a response. So you do that, and we're gonna go over to next. Now, your immigration information. What is your country of citizenship or nationality? So now you want to apply for the American citizenship. They're asking you what's your current country of citizenship or nationality. So once again, it's here. You have a drop down menu, so you already know the answer. So you're gonna go ahead and type the country here. Okay, so if it's Angola, that's Angola. And now they say, on what date did you become a lawful permanent resident? So on what date? So on your green card, you have the date when you became a permanent resident. So look at your green card and enter that date. Now they say, what is your name exactly as it appears on your permanent resident card? So on your green card, you have to type your name here exactly as it appears on your green card. The given name, first name, the middle name if you have a middle name, and the last name. Okay, exactly as it appears on the green card, even if it's misspelled. So even if there is a mistake on the green card and you haven't changed it, and that's exactly what appears on your green card, enter it exactly as it is over here. Now they say, what's your A number? Remember your A number, you can find it on your green card. So they show you where to find your A number. Okay, so when you see the USCIS on your green card, you will see that string of numbers. So that's what you're gonna be entering. So don't enter A again, just enter the number. Okay, just enter the number here because they already have A. So once you have that, you click on next. Okay, so they're asking us, they say you cannot submit your application until you complete that, we know. So I'm not going to do that now. Let me just make sure that I can go to next. Now they say, what's your US social security number? So you go ahead and you enter your US social security number. And if you don't have one, you click here that you don't have a US social security number. If you do have one, this is where you enter. Now they say, what's your USCIS online account number? They say you can find a USCIS online account number by signing in to your account and going to your profile page. That is, if you have previously filed an account, an application with USCIS, you can go ahead and do that. But if you have not, then you don't have one. So if you don't have one, you click here. But if you do have one, you enter your USCIS online account number. So next we are talking about you. So we're going to describe where you have lived, school, military, selective service, travel outside the United States, and request for accommodation. Okay, so what is your gender? Male. What's your ethnicity? So are you Hispanic or Latino? Are you not Hispanic or Latino? So you enter those here. And what's your race? Are you white, Asian, Black or African American, American Indian or Alaska Native, Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islanders? Okay, they're gonna ask also for your height and your weight, the color of your eyes, the color of your hair, and so on and so forth. So I'm not gonna fill that out. This is just for you guys to see exactly what you have. Now they say, where do you live now? So you enter your current address. And when did you move here? The reason why they ask when you moved here is just to know that you're eligible to apply for citizenship in the state where you are, because to apply for citizenship you must have lived in this state that you currently live for at least 3 months. So this is also for them to check that you are eligible to apply. So you click next. So they say we must provide, not now. Next. Where have you worked or attended school full-time during the past 5 years? So they just ask for school or work during the past 5 years. So you're going to enter your schools, or if you went to school full or part-time, you enter. If you worked full or part-time, you enter also as well for the last 5 years. So here you just click add, and then they'll ask you choose new school or employment. So you select, you can add a school. If you went to school, you type the name of your school here, and what was your occupation, obviously student, and then the date. You put the date when you attended the school and the address of the school, and then you save the entry. Okay, and that's the entry here. You can come back later and edit or delete, and you can add another. When you add another, you can go ahead and add a school or add an employment type. So if, for example, you were employed, so you can add a period of self-employment, add a period of unemployment, or add a school or add an employer. So if you didn't work, you click here. If you were working on your own, you click here. If you had an employer, or if you had a school, you click here. So it just depends, and then you fill out everything that comes after. So you do that for all the entries, and that's gonna fill all the last 5 years. So starting today, you go back 5 years, and everything is gonna be here. So when you enter, so this is the first field, second field, and so on and so forth. Now I'm gonna go to next. So they're gonna ask me that I'm missing information, obviously. So the system is very good, because when you miss something, it's gonna remind you that you missed that information, and you can come back and fill that out. So I'm gonna go to next. That's the military service. Have you ever served in the US Armed Forces? No. Are you currently a member of the US Armed Forces? No. Next. Are you a male who lived in the United States at any time between your 18th and your 26th birthdays? In my case, for example, yes, but I was a lawful non-immigrant at the time. I was a lawful non-immigrant. So I'm going to click no. Okay. But if between your 18 and your 26th birthday you were here in the US as a lawful immigrant, then you have to click yes. The reason is they're going to ask you if you were registered with the selective service. Okay. Because if you click yes here, they will ask you, did you register for the selective service? So that in that case, you have to answer. But in my case, no. I'm going to go next. Have you taken a trip outside of the United States in the last 5 years? You have to include short trips that lasted longer than 24 hours and visits to Canada and Mexico as well. Okay, so any trip that lasted more than 24 hours, you write it here. So yes. Now they're going to ask you list all of 24 hours or longer trips that you have taken outside of the United States. So the date you left and the date you return and the country you traveled to. So you have to enter all of that. And normally we should have a way to add. Let me just enter something here just for the sake of entering. I'm gonna go 03 01 2017 04 15 2017, and I'm gonna go ahead and say England. Next. Oh, okay. So when you do that, it counts the number of days that you were outside the United States. And then if you had another trip, then you click on add another trip. Okay, add another trip. So next. Do you have a physical or developmental disability or mental impairments? So if you do, you click yes. If you don't, you click no. Now, are you requesting an accommodation because of your disability? So you read it carefully. If you do, you click yes. If no, you click no. And then we click yes, and we click next. Now they say, what's your current marital status? Single, never married, married, divorced, widowed, separated, marriage annulled. So you choose what's good for you. If you click single, then you will go to next. If you click married, you click to next, and then they will ask you for your spouse as well. Okay, so you will have the information for your spouse, so for your husband or for your wife, for example. So you have all those to fill out. Okay, so I'm just gonna go and make it simple here. Next, they're gonna ask you your spouse, date of birth, if your current spouse ever used a previous legal name, your spouse current address. If your current spouse current address is the same as yours, you just click here and everything is gonna populate it in this field. Okay, and you click next. Now, is your current spouse a US citizen? You click yes or no, depending if they are or not. Okay, and we're gonna keep moving, so we can go. Remember, now is number 2 here: marital status, current spouse, prior marriages. So if your current spouse is a US citizen, you click yes. If no, you click no. So I'm just gonna click no, and then they're gonna ask you the nationality, and you type the nationality, and then what's your current spouse current immigration status? So lawful permanent resident, and you're gonna provide also the current A number. Okay, so that's what you have, and then we're gonna click next. Is your current spouse a current member of the U.S. Armed Forces? No. Or is your current spouse currently employed? So where your current spouse is working. If he or she is not working, you click here. If not, you click there, and they're gonna ask you questions regarding that as well. So, have you been married previously? So if you have been married previously or no. Your current spouse prior marriages. Has your current spouse been married before? So that's what they're asking. If yes, you have to list it. If no, you click no. Now, do you have any children? When they say do you have any children, you have to indicate all your children, including children who are alive, missing, or deceased, children born in the United States or in other countries, children under or over 18 years of age, children who are currently married or unmarried, children who are living with you or elsewhere, current stepchildren, legally adopted children, and children born when you were not married. So you click yes if you have children, and then they're going to ask the information regarding your children. What's your legal name first? So you enter. What's your child's relationship to you? Is that your biological child, your stepchild, your legally adopted child? You enter that here. The child's date of birth, you enter, and you click next. And then the child country of birth, and all the information regarding your child is here. You enter, and if your child has an A number or not, you enter all of those over here. So all that information should be handy. Now that's the first child. If you have more than one child, then you go ahead, you add another. If that's it, then that's it. Okay, and then we're going to click on next. Obviously you can always go back and change, like I said at the beginning. Now we're here, parents. Were your parents married before your 18th birthday? So you click what applies. Is your mother a US citizen? No. Is your father a US citizen? In my case, no. Next. Have you ever... Okay, now we're done with the family. Now we're in this section, moral character. So we're going to go over citizenship claims and voting, legal competency, party or group affiliations, crime on offenses, immigration proceedings, military attachment to the U.S. Constitution. So this is the moral character here. So you read as usual. You have to say, you have to tell the truth. Okay. So have you ever claimed to be a U.S. citizen in writing or in other way? No. Have you ever registered to vote in a federal, state, or local election in the United States? No. Have you ever voted in a federal, state, or local election? No. So you click that. Do you now have, or did you ever have, a hereditary title or an order of nobility in any foreign country? No. Do you owe any overdue federal, state, or local taxes? No. Have you ever... If you say yes, then you have to provide an explanation. Have you ever not filed a federal, state, or local tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident? No. Have you called yourself a non-US resident on a federal, state, or local tax return since you became a lawful permanent resident? No. Have you ever been declared legally incompetent or been confined to a mental institution? So you answer those and you keep going. Now, have you ever been a member of, involved in, or in any way associated with any organization, association, fund, foundation, party, club, society, or similar group in the United States or in any other location in the world? Have you ever been a member of or in any way associated with the Communist Party? Have you ever been a member of or in any way associated either directly or indirectly with any other totalitarian party? Have you ever been a member of or in any way associated with a terrorist organization? So you answer those questions. Have you ever advocated the overthrow of any government by force or violence? Have you ever persecuted any person because of race, religion, national origin, membership or in any particular social group or political opinion? So you go ahead and you answer all these questions. So I'm going to speed up a little bit here just so we can cover everything. Obviously, you have to read the question and answer truthfully. Okay? Okay, so now we are in a new section, crimes and offenses. Let's say before you start this section, if any of the question on this page apply to you, you must answer yes, even if the records have been sealed, expunged, or otherwise cleared. You must disclose this information even if anyone, including a judge, law enforcement officer, or attorney told you that it no longer constitutes a record or told you that you do not have to disclose this information. So here you have to answer if it applies to you. Have you ever committed, assisted in committing, or attempted to commit a crime or offense for which you were not arrested? Yes or no? So you answer truthfully. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here in my case. Because if, for example, the case is yes, then you will for sure provide an explanation. Have you ever been in jail or prison? Have you ever been a habitual drunkard? Have you ever sold or smuggled controlled substances, illegal drugs, or narcotics? So you answer these questions. Have you ever failed to support your dependent or to pay alimony? So that's about child support. Now, have you ever given any US government official any information or documentation that was false, fraudulent, or misleading? So make sure that you read the question carefully and you answer truthfully. So we're going to continue here. This is for the military section here. Have you ever left the United States to avoid being drafted in the US Armed Forces? So that's the military section. You see that here. So we keep going. Have you ever deserted from the US Armed Forces? Now we are in the last part, and this is the attachment to the US Constitution. Now, if you answer no to any of the following questions, make sure that you have an explanation to provide. Do you support the Constitution and form of government of the United States? Yes. If you say, for example, no, you have to provide an explanation. So, in my case, yes. Do you understand the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Yes. Are you willing to take the full oath of allegiance to the United States? Yes. If the law requires it, are you willing to bear arms on behalf of the United States? If the law requires it, are you willing to perform non-combatant services in the United States Armed Forces? If the law requires it, are you willing to perform work of national importance under civilian direction? Okay, now this is the part for evidence. So as part of the naturalization process, you will need to provide evidence to support your application. These documents help us evaluate your application and verify your answers are true. So you're required to provide several documents now as part of submitting your application. You will also need to provide additional evidence which you can submit now or bring to your naturalization interview. Do not send or provide original document to USCIS in the mail. Okay, so don't send your original document in the mail because it can get lost. So here, for example, they're asking me your certificate, your marriage certificate, so you have to upload it here. So what you can do is you can go ahead and scan it, and this is the format that are accepted. You have PDF, JPEG, TIF, and so on and so forth. But the file must not exceed 6 megabyte. Okay, one file must not exceed that. So you go ahead, you can take a picture or you can scan it. So you attach it, and okay, here they're asking me that I should provide evidence. Obviously, I'm not gonna do that now. Next, the evidence about the children. So they're asking me the birth certificate, the court order naming you as the child's parent, or the final adoption certificate. So to prove that I am indeed the parent of that child. And then also additional evidence you want to provide. So you provide those evidence over here. Okay, obviously, since I didn't do anything, they remind me. So the system is pretty efficient to remind you what you're missing. So next. Now here they say check your application before you submit. So we will review your application to check for accuracy and completeness before you submit it. We encourage you to provide as many responses as you can throughout the application. Missing information can slow down the review process after you submit your application. And they say you can return to this page to review your application as many times as you want before you submit it. Okay, so we're going to review. So this is where we are. So before we go over this section, we started here, getting started, about you, your family, moral character, evidence, and so on and so forth. So now review and submit. So this is what we have here. So you can change your answers if you want to, and you can provide answers. You can edit your answers. Everything that's in red, those are the fields that I did not provide any answers. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Or you can go ahead and do that whenever you have time. Okay. And when you're ready, you go to next. Okay, here it doesn't want me to go to next because I didn't fill out many things. So you go ahead and you do that, and when you're done, you should be able to submit this application. So I wanted to make this video really short, but we had many things to cover. So I hope that this has been helpful to you, and please like this video, share, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.